Hello and welcome back to Choice Bits of Bliss. My name is Cilla. Today we're talking about distressing for Tool Time Tuesday. I thought I would show some different ways that you can add distressing, that subtle texture to your layouts. We have a sanding block and we have an actual distressing tool. This is a Tim Holtz distressing tool. Other companies have made this. It's simply a blade inside of this housing and you rub the blade against it. You can also use scissors. So you can open your scissors and then just scrape it. You can also use your fingernails. So those are some ways to add textural distressing, and a way to add distressing that has no texture or dimension at all is to simply ink the edges. So we're going to play with those different methods. I have my base down. It is Simple Stories, America the Beautiful. This paper is Star Spangled. Next, I'm going to add a gutted piece of cream puff basil. As you can tell, I've already played with this layout to make sure that everything fits, because I have 3 photos. And so I wanted to make sure that I could get this done in one layout. I didn't want to do a 2-page. The next paper I'm going to use is Bo Bunny's Celebrating the Freedom. And this paper is called, is it called Celebrating Freedom? So the collection is called Celebrating Freedom. And maybe that's what the paper is as well. Okay, so that's what we have. And it is going to, I just needed to show a little bit of difference between this very active and busy background to the buffalo chick. And I feel like I have this upside down. I do, because I could tell my explosions were not going, they were going down to the ground instead of going up into the sky. Now, that's better. We're right side up. Okay, so the middle of that cream puff basil, we're just going to lay down. And this is a very, very block design. So we've got block on block on block on block. And I'm going to add, I don't know what that is. I'm going to add some strips in the background. So what am I going to distress? Well, the first thing I'm going to distress is with ink is going to be this block. And I'm just going to do a light touch. I don't want you to look at it and say, oh, there's ink on that. I want it to be this subtle addition that just provides a little bit of difference to the background. And I'm just rubbing right along the edge, being very careful not to go over in these corners, because a lot of times that is where it'll kind of show up, is in the corners. And I like that look actually, but not for this layout. That's not what I want. So once I lay that back down, there's just going to be this subtle difference that something's there. And it's not just blending straight into the background, and that's what I want. Another thing I want is on this one. I want to be able to see some roughed up edges, and so we're going to use my distress tool and just drag it along there. And it's not a huge difference, but it does show some distressing. And you can get deeper into it if you want to. I did here. I got a little deeper into it. And I think I'm going to do that in certain places. So I'm going to go lightly, and then in certain places I'm going to go a little deeper just to make it look not so perfect and not so even. So we're just going to go lightly, and I went deeper here and here. So about in here, we're going to go a little deeper and then go light again. And we're just making just a little bit of a rough edge. And I just realized the sound of this may be triggering for some people, I guess. My son has things set him on edge sometimes. So this is very, very subtle. And unless you're sitting here looking at the layout, you're not going to see a big difference in what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and start adhering. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and ink the edges of this paper as well, and just run it across through there. I think in my daydream, when I was thinking about this layout, I wanted more of this blue to show, and I didn't cut this right. So I cut this paper 11.5. The next paper is cut at 11.25, and of course my white top layer is what's gutted out of here. So I probably should have gone a little bit smaller on this one, but I don't want to redo it. So it is what it is. I used cream puff because this is not white. It's not a bright white. And so, and then the Bo Bunny paper is not a bright white. And it's not a true cream. It's more of an off-white, but I couldn't find an off-white paper handy. And y'all know my life. I was turned around, getting into the cubby where my cardstock is, my colored cardstock, and I was leaning over, and I leaned too far, and my little stool dumped me out on the floor. So I had to call my husband up here to fix my stool because the base of it kind of bent. There was a lot of pressure on it. I like that better. Yes, I do. I like that better. Okay, so let's go ahead and adhere this. So now I'm going to have to, instead of being lazy and bending from my seat to get in my cubbies, I'm going to have to actually get it out of my seat if I want this stool to survive. It was a little cheap thing. I mean, I got it for like 30 bucks off of Amazon, but I don't want to destroy it. When I decide I want another chair, I'll get another chair. I don't want to have to because I break it. I need something to sit in the meantime. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Bern? Y'all remember that? I can't remember the character's name, but he was in some comedy shows, I think back in the 90s. Ernest, was his name Ernest? I can't remember. Okay, we're going to center this up a little bit. Make sure it's all straight. Pop it down. Now, I'm not doing a particularly patriotic page, but you'll understand when you see the photos. My intent was not to do a patriotic page. That's just kind of how it had to be. Okay, we're going to, I do not want this dead center. I want it offset just a little bit. Okay, now here is where I want to do some strips, because I have these washi strips from Pebbles, and I think I want to run across here and before I put my photos down. So I like this one. that has the words to the song America the Beautiful. And it looks good because it's on this cream puff. I'm going to just raise this up because, you know, I think about things afterwards. I do that. And then wrap it. That's what I want to do. I want to use the stars. Are you able to even see these? I just checked. You are. You can see it. So I want to just ride up on the one up top, and then we're going to wrap it. I think this is going to be so pretty. And if it's not so pretty, guess what? It's staying. And then these letters are cut off. So I'm going to go ahead and just take it just over that sentence. And then we're going to wrap it again. Okay, I may come back and do another strip, but let's just put my photos down and see if I like it. So these photos are of my Southwest flight that I took in April. This is the first time I have flown on a plane that was decorated. They're typically just, you know, the brand, you know, Delta, United, whatever. This was a Southwest flight, and the airplane was definitely decorated. So I feel like, so I have these stars and I have these stars. I feel like I need more stars because I covered these up. So let's take these back up and then put down more stars. Okay, so this is when it was coming in. We knew it was coming into our gate, and we realized, hey, that's our plane. It was very stormy, as you can see. It was raining that day. It was very stormy. We thought it was going to be canceled, but it was not. It was delayed. Our flight was delayed. I was flying into Houston, and you know, Houston has tornadoes and stuff. So we were just concerned about the thunderstorms for sure. Okay, I like that. This makes me happy. I've done this distressing. We've talked about different ways to distress. All I have left to do is a title and some ephemera, and this layout will be in the books. I'm going to go away, do some adhering of my photos, think about where I'm going to put my die cuts, and then I'll be right back. I almost messed up and stopped my video. I have this sticker sheet from America the Beautiful by Simple Stories, and I'm thinking that I want to use these fans, these florals, and I have this pack of ephemera from Photo Play. I think I can probably get a, I like this Hooray for the Red, White, and Blue. I think that's what's going to be my title. Let me pause for 1 second. I'm getting some messages I need to reply to. Let me pause. I'll be right back. Okay, once again, I'm playing and I'm not showing y'all what I'm doing. So the title that I had wanted was, I've already used it. So I'm going to use this Stars and Stripes Forever. I have made a cluster out of those fans. We're going to just adhere this down. I want to kind of center that a little bit. There we go. Close enough. Close enough. And I like this where it says Star Spangled Cutie, but I'm not. I think maybe I need to go down this way with it. I overran my circle here. And of course I need to pick this up because this is what I do. There we go. You can tell it says cutie without seeing the entire word. There we go. So now I want to build a cluster up here. There's an eagle on here, so I want to add the eagle. And I'm just going to put things down lightly because I'm not quite certain how I want this to look just yet, because we're running into that busy background now. So that I like because it kind of looks like that's extending that explosion. We're going to put another one back here. And let's do a floral cluster because that's going to be a lot different. It's going to give a lot of color. And we're going to push that down. That one is completed. I'm going to do memories right here, this tab. So I'm happy with those, and maybe just a small cluster here in this corner. So I'm looking at some of these phrases, and I'm going to use Made with Pride because I feel like it definitely was. And I like Star Spangled as well. And I'm going to add these stars here in underneath this cluster. And that, my friends, is going to be this layout. I'm calling it quits. I'm done. So as you can see, the distressing, that is difficult to say together when you get tongue tangled, is very, very subtle, but it is present. And I really like how this turned out. I like the products that I used. We combined several different brands. We had Photoplay, Pebbles, Bo Bunny, Simple Stories, Basil, and I'm super happy with how it all came together. Thank you so much for joining me. Go down below and check out everyone who is participating. You're not going to regret it. You're going to get a ton of inspiration. Come back soon and we'll chat. Bye-bye.